Hello, good evening once again. My name is Yemi Adenuga. Welcome to Sharing with Yemi. It's great to be back with you again today. We had a bit of a technical hitch there, but it's great to be back, and I hope that you can hear me loud and clear now. Today, we're discussing young people's mental health. There's been a lot of talk about it. Young people are so challenged by the things that surround them. And some of them have said they find it even difficult to navigate the world. And that in itself is become an issue for them. So today we'll be having the conversation about young people's mental health. My guest is an amazing woman who has done a lot of great work in this regard and who has started a project to support young people, help them deal with this particular issue. In the My World National Report on Young People's Mental Health recently, it was discovered that 1 in 3 young person has had an experience with a challenge of the mental health. And the Irish Times reported not too long ago that there was a steep rise in the rates of anxiety and depression amongst young people. The report, which was carried out amongst 19,000 young people, who were ages between 12 and 25, it captured the views of these young people, and it found that teenagers who spend 3 or more hours online are more likely to miss out on sleep, and they have high rates of anxiety and depression. The study was carried out by UCD School of Psychology and funded by Jigsaw, the National Youth Mental Health Service, and it follows up on a similar report that was carried out a couple of years ago. That was 2012. And so today we will be exploring all the challenges, or most of the challenges that young people encounter that causes them to feel depressed, and that has become an issue for them in this day and age. So it's my honor and pleasure to first welcome you onto the show. If you can hear me, if you've joined us today, please let me know. Indicate your presence, say hello, say hi. Let us know that you're with us today and that you can hear me loud and clear. And once I know that you're with me, send a message. It's great to have people joining us. I can see that some people are joining us already. And it's my honor and pleasure now to welcome on the show my guest for today. Please join me to welcome Karina Murray. Karina, you're welcome to Sharing with Yemi.
Great, thank you, Yemi.
It's great. It's great to have you back. And I think this time we can be heard.
Yay!
Okay, so we will do this. Tell us, who is Karina?
Oh gosh, Karina is a mom, a sister, a daughter, a lot of things. But I am is a passionate woman that's got a real mission to help young people. And that's really, that's my big challenge and my big mission, and my big dream is to make that difference,
I love when you say you're on a mission to help young people. Lots of times people actually don't have a mission, and some people even think that their mission is impossible. But you seem to be on a path to ensuring that young people get as much support as they can from you. Where did that passion come from?
Yeah, it's interesting. So many people would look at what's been possible with the new academy, and they look at me and say, where did it all come from? And I say, well, firstly, I'm not an expert in mental health, or I'm not an expert in education. And certainly, to the contrary, I wouldn't have, I had Cllr, and I conditioned myself thinking I wasn't understand of what that means to people to feel like they're not good enough and they don't, they it's like either catch up or lose out, and I think that we've all got such a different gift to give to this world, and I think creativity in young people has to be nurtured, and we need to really embrace that. And time, in particular, it's one of those times that we're living in a totally different world now, and that what's been happening in education for so long has been educating young people to an industrial age. So really, we need to nurture our future leaders, our future philanthropists, entrepreneurs, to think about the big picture on what's possible, because life is changing so fast and quick.
Mm.
My whole, like I said, I'm a mother, and my two kids are 8 and 12, and they're my whole world, really, and I can see the world that they face. And I just really, I spent so long at home with my two kiddies for 9 years. They were my world, and my life was centered around them. And then
Mm.
bubble burst, I realized I had to go back out into the working world. It became a real daunting one for me, like so many
Mm.
people out there. I'm sure that we all face that. Yet again, it's like rebuilding. Where do I start, and how do I, rediscover who I am and who I was, and how do I get back out there and start
Mm.
myself? So it really all starts with self-belief, and I think that there's certain people in my life. I was lucky. I had people that did believe in me. Others that didn't, and really kind of, so it was like really trying to get the balance. But it only takes one person to really see, to really raise you up and to see that. And I suppose I really felt, I had in the past, had businesses in the past, and I was very entrepreneurial. I was always very creative in the way of thinking, and I just realised that, mental health, and which I don't like the phrase, as you said before the last show, emotional health and well-being is such an important thing to really kind of, encourage young people to really take the approach that anything is possible. Some of the most amazing people out there in the world are come from really bad places, and they've done amazing work, and like nothing out of your reach. If you can discover ways of getting through the challenges of, emotions that, and life and challenges, and find a way through it, it's amazing what you'll achieve, It's been a journey, incredible journey, and it's funny in my mid-40s to discover my purpose, when now I'm looking to ignite that in young people. Really, it would have been so wonderful to be able to have that back then. So really to instill that. And
Well, then they say it's never too late, right?
no,
And the minute you find your purpose, you run with it.
totally, absolutely, Yeah, absolutely. You run with it, because I think that's the thing. It's like, so many people for so long. I suppose it has been a labour of love for me for so long, and I always said, I'll find a way to make this work. I'll find a way. I'll grow people that really had the vision for, and kind of got it, understood it. And I suppose there's so many people out there. Everybody wants to wants to help and contribute. And I really enrolled everybody, so many people. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the incredible support of the team that I've had, that have carried me all the way, And
wow, that's very good. And I understand the power of a fantastic team. Karina, let me ask you, there are several things you could have done. There are a million and one things you could have done in supporting people around you, right? But you decided to focus on young people. Was there an incident as at the time you decided, okay, I'm going to focus on young people and I'm going to support their well-being, their emotional well-being? Because you said you don't like to use the word mental health, but you prefer to use emotional well-being. So why the choice of young people? Why not women or men? Why young people specifically?
it's our young people have so many challenges, and it's like, they need us to step up and really be their voice, because so many young people are not being heard. They're not being heard. They're not, they're not being listened to. And really, I know that, things haven't changed that much, and things haven't really, you look at the whole system, educational system, what's really changed, people saying that there's a lot more support out there, but it's about working collaboratively and really bringing changes to the system. I think that a lot of things need to change. I think that there needs to be a big shift. I think this is the time that we realise that, it's not an industrial age we need to be training and looking to educate our children towards. We need to start giving them their opportunity to be be the future, and look beyond what they've been, look beyond what they've been led to believe is the truth. It's like, it's their world. And I think we really need to tap into listening to them. So I felt that I wanted to give them their opportunity to be their voice, and You know, and if I had to use my own, which I felt uncomfortable doing initially because it wasn't I didn't honestly know, I didn't know what to expect when I took this journey. But now I've stepped into my own. But, you know, I was, you know, certainly never imagined doing things like this, you know, talking in front of cameras, standing in front of stages, speaking in the radio all the time and having my own show. But I suppose once you take on responsibility and you're willing to, you know, you can see it through, and it's like there's nothing greater. There's no greater job. There's nothing stopping me now, you know, and nothing will stop me. And you know, I have like, each challenge brings something new, and you learn something new from it. And really, it's about driving forward and just driving forward and forward and forward, because you know, we need to be an example and role model, and just bring people along with us on the journey, you know. So
I suppose, you know, one of the things that what you're saying is speaking to me is how I grew up as well. I mean, I'm thinking of myself as you're speaking, and thinking of myself. I'm having flashbacks of myself as a young person. When I was growing up, nobody told me how good I was and what I could do with my life, or how great the future was for me, the possibilities that abound in the future. We didn't get that chance. Well, I didn't get that chance. Nobody came to me and said, this is what you can do with your life. And nobody really was there to listen, you know? And that's the one thing that we don't do well. We don't listen. I've said this over and over again, and we've had this conversation with some of the people who've been guests on Sharing with Yemi, that we don't know how to listen as adults. And so we don't hear when our young people are speaking to us. Sometimes it's not even the words they speak. Sometimes it's their action. The things they do, sometimes I cry out for help, but we don't hear them because we're not listening. We're focused on other things, because in our minds, we already have an expectation from them or of them. And that's all we're focused on. And at the end, then we don't hear when they're trying to tell us something. You know, so maybe in this time and in this generation, in this dispensation, with all that is happening around, maybe we'll be able to pick up on our children when they're speaking to us in one way or the other, because now we're spending every day with them. You know, we're indoor and there's nowhere to go. It's like there's no escape. So we don't have a choice but to see them, and we don't have a choice then but to try and listen and to hear them. Have you found in your line of work as well with people over the period that you started your project, which we'll talk about in a moment, that people don't listen a lot to their children?
Oh, absolutely. You know, this is it. You know, we really look. I'll give you a little example. My young daughter hasn't been very well for the last 7 months. She's been sick, and I've had to kind of really, you know, reach out everywhere and explore all sorts of different sorts of ways to help her and really listen to her. I really had to listen to see what's going on. And I think initially from the get-go, it was like, we were very much dismissed when, you know, it was all very much, you know, when she was feeling sick, and, going down the professional route and looking for answers, you know, she wasn't really being heard, you know, and you know, it's something to do with her. She's anxiety. It's just she's created this, and this is basically like a manifested type of sickness. She's basically manifested.
Yeah.
I was away on holidays with her, and she had a fall, and I was convinced she picked up in a storm. We were at a tropical storm, basically, that she fell and she slipped into contaminated water. And
Wow.
A week later, that she developed signs of sickness, and she's been suffering with chronic nausea for 7 months now.
What's that? What's that condition?
That condition is basically, she, you know, initially when I could write a book on this, because it's been really eye-opener in regards to how I've been made feel, how she's been made feel, and how she wasn't heard from the start. That whole thing, I was convinced that it was a bacteria that she picked up, and how it's, you know, that's why, because literally a week later she developed signs of nausea, and from morning to night she's feeling sick. And
Wow.
it was, it was a pediatrician basically said, oh, her blood results have come back fine, so it's psychological. She needs to go to a cognitive behavior therapist. And I said, okay. I'm not convinced that's the case because there was nothing that I could associate with why that would happen, unless it was the stress of the fall, or I don't know. But it never made any sense. But I've had to really, really fine tune, listen to her, and it's really kind of, it really is a very scary time because I just thought for so long I had so many. There was such a lot of upset and seeing her. She missed so much, school and activities, and her whole life was on hold because she's feeling sick all the time. And
Wow.
I've had her everywhere, and I've been very lucky to be supported. But I look at so many parents out there that have sick children, and I think, my God, to be heard and to be listened to as a mother, never mind a child, was very challenging for me. And I think sometimes certain people, certain doctors and consultants and all, felt I was a little bit. I was actually, a little bit over the top.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. She's been to healers, kinesiologists, all sorts of different alternative people now. And she finally had a breath test done recently, and they came back that she had a small bacterial infection, but that was never suggested she did a breath test. I had to find out through somebody else. And then had another test, which I insisted on with the consultant after going back second time to say, I insist that you do something. I'm not leaving here until you do.
Sometimes that's the thing. Sometimes we need to fight for our kids. Sometimes we need to insist. Sometimes we need to put our foot down for our children. I mean, I'll give you a great example. I remember one of the times my son in school, I mean, this was perhaps 2-3 years ago. He'd been wrongly accused of doing something he had no idea, about 5 years ago, I think. He had no idea who did it. But then they said, oh, it was him. And I mean, I know him so well. And I asked him the question straight up, did you do it? And he said, no. My goodness, Karina, you should have seen me that school. But, and I got it sorted. And at the end of the day, they found out who had done it. And I made sure that they apologized to my son. But what's the point I'm trying to make here? That our children need to know, if we're going to help and support them with their mental state of mind, their well-being, they need to know that they're there. We are there for them. They need to know that they can come to us for anything whatsoever, and that we will listen, that we would hear them, and we will listen to them, and we won't judge them, because sometimes we do judge as parents. We already are casting aspersions before they finish what they're trying to say, and I'm sure you would have experienced that. You would have heard that one way or the other through your line of work as well, So would you have, let's go now to the work itself that you do now to support young people. And your project is called Aunua.
Yes. It's very exciting. So much has evolved. And as I said before, Aunua was basically inspired by, I just realized that was through actually a good friend of mine's was really struggling. And I suppose that really kind of was a very daunting, it kind of really kind of struck me that, our young people are really struggling and we need to step up and step in. And I realized that, we can't sit back and wait for government officials or for anyone to make the decisions for us. We have to stick together. It has to be something that our communities and our nation needs to stick together. We need to find ways and we need to support our young people and find ways to do that. It's a really challenging time for our young people. So I had a real fire in my belly when I realised that I'd initially been going down the route of personal development for adults, and I realised I needed to change my direction. And once I actually, once I had that, I started kind of really creating that space in my own head and start thinking, okay, I need to start sharing and sharing the vision for it and the passion to enroll other people that were like-minded. And that's when I start building a team. And I realized that we all need to believe. Self-belief is so important. We all need to believe that we can actually take that first step, and we all need to recognize our great strengths and abilities to do things. We all have ways of learning and being. that's when Roar came about, actually. And Roar was the initial program going back 2 years ago when we started piloting it out into schools. But Roar, it's come back to Roar again because together we can roar louder. And it's such a catchy line because it's so true. Together we can, And the acronym.
So Roar will be ROAR.
That's it, or OAR, and it's an acronym for what it represents is, or the first O is for recognition, and that's such an important step. The O is for opening up. It's about opening up communication. Communication is so important.
Very key. Communication is very key.
Totally, absolutely. I think that's what's really sad at the moment. I think so many young people have lost that sense of communication because it's all very, it's become very, accepted that, young people they just go on their phones and their social media and it's like they're having conversations a different way. So, really like we have to teach this now. And it's like it's become something that we really need to try and encourage more.
Yeah. Can I pause you for a moment, Karina? Do you have any audio on beside you?
Oh, okay. I have my laptop. I'll turn this off.
Yeah, so if you turn the audio off for that, then we're trying to see if we can get people to hear you better and clearer, I suppose.
Oh, yeah. That better?
I'm hoping it will be better. And maybe if you're a little closer to your camera, maybe it will be better. So let's hope that this works better. Yes.
Okay. I'm right.
Okay. So you guys, you let us know. Let's know if this is better. So you were talking there about the importance of opening up a line of communication for the young people.
Absolutely. And then the other A is for acceptance. About acceptance, such an important one. Excuse me. Accepting who we are and our great abilities to do things, but it's about accepting other people. It's the importance of accepting everybody for their own uniqueness, and it's so important. And then the other O is for reconnecting. And I think we're all doing at the moment, and it really is. It's become a huge way of life now. We're reconnecting with the world, and we're realizing what's possible. We're all the same throughout the world, And I think this is the wonderful thing about, we have to find the silver line in every cloud. And I know it's a really tough time, but I think really, there's so many different things we're going to take from this time and learn from, and I think that, tapping into the bigger scale of things and opening up, new conversations with people around the world has become a huge part of this time and some time that we'll take something really valuable from.
I think this is an awesome program within the project itself. Even just looking at the meanings of the acronym ROAR, I think they're all just powerful. The first R is for recognition, and that's recognizing other people for who they are. We're all different and we're diverse. I suppose this is where diversity and inclusion comes into play. We're all different. When I hear people talk about diversity and inclusion now, and they sell it as a business, it's always been there. It's nothing new. It's always been there because we're all different. We've always been, and we will always be different, So the diversity has always been there. And I suppose that's where the recognition comes in. Recognizing people's strengths, the differences in our abilities, the differences in our confidence, our levels of confidence. Not everyone will have it at the same time. And respecting those differences, that's fantastic. And openness, being able to be open to hearing other people's point of view. I suppose sometimes we're locked. There's this thing I always say where people are talking, and the minute somebody says something that resonates with you, that's it. You're disconnected. You're waiting for that opportunity to jump in and say what you know about that thing they've talked about. You're no longer connected. So it's being open to hearing other people's point of view, that you're not necessarily going to be right all the time. Other people are also right. Sometimes there's no right and wrong. It's just the point of view. What angle are you looking at things from? And then accepting people for who they are. We won't all be perfect, but we all bring different values to the table. And he's seen that value, seen that good bit about people, and accepting that and seeing that about our children. One of the things, I'll tell you an African proverb, right? That I'll try and translate it literally. They say, if you compare your child, if you compare one child to another, so if you're comparing two children, yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna beat one to death if you're not careful. Because then you're going to see one really good child, and then you see another child that is not so great.
Yeah.
And if we do that, we don't see the abilities, the two different strengths that those children have, the individual differences. So I mean, the last R is reconnect, isn't it?
Yes. Absolutely, reconnect.
Being able to come back. I love the bit where you talked about just disconnecting from social media and reconnecting to people. We are so connected to social media right now. It's unbelievable. And it's time we started to unplug from social media to replug to human beings, to people. And no better time to do it than now, when we're all stuck at home,
Yeah.
So that's a brilliant program. I love it. Roar.
Yeah. It's exciting because, there's so many different opportunities that have opened up with Aunua, and it's been through, it's incredible how sometimes when you start living in your purpose and you really start really living that way. As I said, this has been a labor of love for me. It's been a real a really big passion for me. I've always seen that, there is going to be opportunities to, and I've always wondered, well, how are we going to fund this? Because I've always said it's a non-profit. We want this to be a total free resource that's going to be free resources within school talks, free resources online. We're going to have we have our new website now, which is really great. We have our new magazine online, and we're sharing a lot of different partnerships. We've got a lot of collaborations, a lot of different collaborative partnerships that add huge amount of value to what we're doing. So we're like an umbrella of resources that.
Very good.
It's about bringing all of our partners and the resources that we have there to the forefront. And, there's certain ones that are just, there's certain things that are going on out there in the world. I think we really need to kind of be more inclusive and work together because, we've got such a big problem in the world with mental health, the dreaded word, but it's, and it's a case of, how can we work collaboratively and, in a more productive manner, a more way that we can actually cover all the different angles. I think there's not all one size fits all. It's about addressing all of them under one place, and I think that's what we're doing here. It's like we're bringing them all together, and it's it's been kind of incredible. I think there's so many different partnerships that opened up now, and we've got Aunua Kids then, where we've got, programs that we're looking to develop for kids, and magazines for parents and for educators and for young kids. And we've got, we're looking at an animation for Erin's diaries, which are online e-learning diaries as well. And then we've got Aunua Teens, which is about giving young people the opportunity to be the voice, because they are the voice. We need to encourage that, and they're the inspiration, and they want to listen to you.
Wow.
Really, So that whole podcast series, we're looking at that and a lot of different sorts of programs with our partnerships. One really exciting partnership, which is really has become incredibly important to us, is one that we'll be sharing very soon. It's a very exciting one because it means that we have another 4 key components, amazing things we're going to be offering, and that is to support the SDGs, which is the Global Development Goals. I think we are, it really needs to be, our young people need to find out more and how they can be part of that. So, we have Aunua Academy Africa, which is really exciting. We opened up the lines of communications there, and we actually have a journalist in Africa now and writing the stories, and we're creating a magazine over there and programs, and with Shiro and Yemi, our resources and our team and our curriculum, which we're creating to Africa. So it's very exciting.
Fantastic. Great job you're doing with Aunua there. We've had a number of people join us, and conversations are going here. I'm going to, if you're just joining us, welcome. This is Sharing with Yemi. And today, Karina is sharing with me the work that she's doing with her project. It's called Aunua Academy. Aunua in Irish means new, doesn't it?
It does. It's a play on words for new, which is wonderful, So, yeah.
Absolutely. And it's working with young people, helping to support young people's emotional well-being. Karina doesn't like to use the word mental health. So she prefers to use the word emotional health and emotional well-being. It's supporting the emotional well-being. And I want to thank you. If you're here already joining us, thank you so much, Lucia. It's great to see you. How are you? Great to see you. Thank you for joining us. Toluwani from Kilkenny's. Fantastic to see you, darling. Thank you for joining us. Trust you're keeping well. And Hayo Demeji, great to see you here. Munirat, Shomide, it's great to have you with us again today. Thank you so much. You've posted so many comments here already. Thank you very, very much. Adiola Akpan, Ayakalaba, that's what they call you. Great to have you here with us today. We've had so many comments coming in just in response to some of the things that we've been conversing about, Karina. And I think there's a question in here. Before we carry on, we'll probably take that question straight away. There's a question in here from Lucia, and it's, do parents' expectations for teens to excel in school increase the pressure on the teens? Do parents' expectations for teens to excel in school increase the pressure on teens? Karina, do you want to take that one?
Absolutely. I think, we really need to, I think as parents, we have a very good understanding of our young people. Our kids are, we want the best for them. And the most important, most crucial part of them is to understand their what's going on inside and how they think and operate and how they feel, So I think we really need to kind of really listen. You mentioned, Yemi, about listening. It's such an important time for us to listen to our young people. They've got something to say, and the pressures that they have in school, really, I was very lucky myself because I had very supportive parents, but there's a lot of pressure on young people. And as I said, we don't all think the same. We don't all learn the same. We can't be the same, and there's, for a school, a one size all fits all, and we all need to, you'll have to go down the route of, performance and competing and getting these results. And I think parents need to be really more tapping in more as to support their young people emotionally, because the pressures in school, and I can tell you now, our young people have got something great to offer in this world. And, if we can really listen to what they want, and how they see it, because I think that the pressure can be a big detriment. So we need to really listen.
We need to mind that. Absolutely. That's it. I mean, I completely agree with you. I suppose even when we think about pressure for young people, if we think back to our own lives when we were teenagers in secondary school, we will understand how much pressure, if we remember how much pressure we were under at the time, if our parents were, for those whose parents weren't that educated, if the parents were educated and they put a lot of pressure, imagine what that would have been like, But the parents didn't even know where to start. For parents who weren't as educated, they didn't know where to start with the kids. They just knew they wanted the best for their children. And sometimes they felt that the things they asked the kids to do was the best thing. So they were offering their best. This is one thing I think maybe we need to help our children understand, that when parents say to the children, oh, I want you to do well in this, I want you to do well in this, it's for the good of the children. It's the how we do it that matters. Sometimes we get a little overboard. We go overboard with how we ask our children to excel in school. And we have to remember as parents that our young kids are already under pressure in school. So they would expect that coming home will be a haven for them, a place where they can release some of that tension and release some of that pressure. So if we add to it, it's not helping in whatever way. It's not helping at all. We can help by, like Karina had said, listening. Let's hear, first of all, what their day's been like in school. If we listen, then we know how not to put extra pressure on them. Rather, if we try to douse the tension they already have, then they would easily tell us. Plus, we can ask them questions. What do you want for yourself? What would you like to be? You know, are you thinking about what you want to do with your life? What are you great at already? How can I help you achieve that? You
Yeah.
know, rather than add our pressure. I always say that sometimes our projection as parents onto our children are the expectations we had for ourselves that we couldn't fulfill. And we want to project it, we want to project it onto our children. We want them to fulfill our lives that we couldn't fulfill, you know, and sometimes it's not fair on them. You wanted to say something there, Karina?
Yeah, no, it is funny you say that, because I think that's the thing, it's we do project what we feel, and I think it's really about asking the right questions to our young people, asking them the right questions, and sometimes it's like there's no handbook being a parent, it's a tough task. You feel like you're under pressure yourself because you think, okay, they have to do this, kind of support that, but how do you support them and how do you encourage them in the right way, in the right approach? And that one is really like it really needs to, parents do need more support on that as well, and how to approach things, because you can end up being the bad guy, and very often, unfortunately, a lot of our young people see parents that way and see us that way, that we're causing them
Absolutely.
always blame their parents, isn't we? It's they're stopping us from doing this or that, but I think having the conversations, it's very important to keep the lines of communication and really listen and engage and listen to what they're saying, and just be there to listen and to provide the support that you need to, and find out what they really want as well.
Absolutely. And at that point you've made there leads me to the next question. How can parents reconnect with their teens? I suppose this is in relation to what we mentioned earlier on about connecting with their children. How can parents reconnect with their teens that believe the parents don't know anything? I think I feel this one there now. That parents don't know anything, but their friends know better, which sometimes gets them into trouble. So,
Yeah.
how can parents reconnect with their teens? Those teens who believe that their parents don't know nothing, but my friends know better. And some will even tell you, "Oh, my teacher said." My teacher, which kind of it's kind of implies that the teacher knows better than the parents. How can parents reconnect with those teens?
I would think, like, really, bring it back to basics. What's really important, like, what is it like regardless of what age anybody is, like, it's really important to spend time with the person to find out who they are. I think this is the problem now. I think we can all be, held responsible for. We're so caught up with working and spending time doing other things, like our, social media or whatever the case may be, and our phones are there. The phones are so accessible, and technology, and I think really it's about just putting it away and actually having some sense of family. I think family time is such an important thing to really nurture, and have a routine of, I know now it's a very difficult time, but I think it's really a good time to maybe as well to just address that, and spend quality time with your teen, and really get a really good sense of who they are, because sometimes we hear some awful stories about our young people are really struggling with a huge amount. They're carrying such a lot, and we don't know what they really carry unless we really we can really talk to them and have them trust again, and have a friendship, a friendship that's going to be there all their lives. And we're not going to like some of the things we hear that they say. We're not going to always agree, obviously, but
absolutely,
spending quality time is the most important thing we can do for young people. And that's not necessarily, that could be just going for something that they like to do. Maybe just go even just for a walk and just do something, get an ice cream or whatever. Do something fun. Bring the dog for a walk together, and I know that something to just bring up conversations and hugs and love and support. Just to get.
Children can tell these things, can't they? I mean, they can tell if they're loved. From how we hug them and how we give them a kiss, how we talk to them. Very important. I love the bit you said about family time. I really love that. And I always emphasize that myself. I mean, just to testify to that, in my household, Friday is our family time. We call it our movie and pizza night. So we get pizza, we switch off the phone, switch off a laptop, everything is gone, and no internet connection whatsoever, and nothing connected to social media except the Netflix or the movie we're watching. We allow the kids to pick the movie, and we watch a movie together. And then when we're done watching the movie, we talk about our week, what our week was like. Who was nice to you? Who was mean to you? What did mommy or daddy say that you didn't like throughout the week? It gives us a chance then to connect together. And I think in a lot of ways, that's one of the things that's missing when we're not spending enough time together as a family, like you said there, Karina. I think another thing, just to come to that question again as well, is that how we reconnect with our teens who think that we don't know anything. For parents, especially parents who perhaps are not educated, the children might think, well, what do you know? You're not educated after all. Well, that's the one thing you don't have, but you have several other things, don't you? As a parent, you have so much to give your kids. You can teach them morals. So you give them what you have.
Yes.
The school is there to give them what you don't have, which is the education, but you give them what you have, and that helps you to connect with them. You teach them how to be respectful to others, how to have self-respect, how to have confidence, first in themselves and in everything that they do. That's something you have that you can give. And that gives them something to say of you or to say about you as their parent. They can always say, well, mom always tells me respect begets respect. So I have to respect others before they respect me. If your child can say that, that's something of you that they carry around all the time. But if we're not sharing what we know, then they think we don't know nothing. Go on, Karina.
It's a very important point. That's so important. Like, what we can teach our children is something that can't be taught in any textbook. It can't be taught in any school. We have great power we have as parents, and we have the power to love and care and nurture our children and give them a sense of true values. Values are the best gift we can give our young people. And like, they'll bring that throughout their lives, so it's about, sometimes, life and circumstances, we really need to tap into that ourselves. And some people, don't really use what their gift in life, because they don't know how to. And like, that goes too, it's that, a lot of people out there are, might have come from situations where family weren't very supportive to them, and then they've gone through their lives conditioned to thinking that they weren't going to be that way. And I suppose there's so many different ripple effects and different things, but start with the basics. Love is the fundamental one thing we can all give to each other, and it's the one thing we all want, and it's the one thing we all can give, and really it's about really just understanding that we've got such a great gift to give to the world, if we can just find that. But to our young people, it's so important we set those values in place and really give them the love and support that they need.
Absolutely. I've got a comment here from Oluwafunmilola Cole. Thank you for joining us today. She says, setting expectations for teenagers is an essential responsibility of parents, but unfortunately, the culture of success that permeates popular culture has convinced many parents to set the wrong kind of expectation for their children. There is the need to apply person-centered approach in doing this, not the parents' way, but the children's way. I suppose what she's saying here is that it shouldn't be one way. Maybe not necessarily the children's way, because the children themselves don't know what they want for themselves. It's like asking what you want for dinner. If you ask some kids what you want for dinner, they want junk food all the time, but we know as parents that's not healthy for them. So we know we have to cook healthy meal to keep them healthy. So it may not necessarily be the way the children want it, but meeting halfway, us knowing as parents that we've got wisdom, we've got understanding, and we've got knowledge from experience of life, and we can bring this to our children. If we're not feeling them with the right things, somebody will be filling that gap. There's always a vacuum in young people, and it's going to be filled. Don't be deceived as parents. I mean, like I've learned not to deceive myself. There's always a vacuum, but it has to be filled. The question is, who's filling it and what's filling it? If we don't know who's filling the vacuum in our children, if we're not having those conversations with them, be guaranteed somebody's having those conversations with them. And you may not know who that somebody is. So it's best you step in as the parent and you can hear them. I mean, look, there's no perfect parents anywhere. We all try. We all do our best. But the thing we want is at the end, after all said and done, we want to be able to say with all conviction, I did my best. And genuinely too. Isn't that so, Karina?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's exactly it. We can only do our best, and, our best, is, just sometimes, we just really need to understand that, we just have a greater understanding of that, just do our best. We have to, we have to do our best. The responsibility to do our best for our young people. And yeah.
Karina, let's take a step back into Aunua, because I want people to get a really strong feel of the kind of work you're delivering to help young people with their emotional well-being. So currently, you have an animation which you've prepared. You mentioned it earlier there, Aaron. That's the mascot's name, Aaron.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
So what's Aaron's job as the mascot for Aunua?
Right, okay. Well, we have little Erin there, and she's our little mascot for Aunua Kids. And Erin's job is to talk about her emotional journey in life. So at the moment, we have some e-learning books. There's going to be more coming out now soon. And we're basically creating an animation series for Erin as well. And thankfully, we have now a sponsor who's one of our partners who's going to help us promote or to support that. Whereas before we were obviously non-profits and providing free services. We've been very blessed to have had a team of volunteers to provide us with lots of different services, and it's been a whole team effort. But now basically we will have a lot more resources and a lot more to offer, and initiative funding to be able to bring that into place. And then there's also the kids. Then we will have programs for younger kids in schools, little initiatives for allotments in schools as well through one of our partners, Cllr, which is a really exciting one, and that is going to make a huge difference. And we're looking at different sorts of incentives for connecting children around the world through one of our partners, Beluga, which were the mental health providers on that platform in 82 countries around the world. Connecting teachers around the world and profiling children, and children are connected with different children around the world. So it's like pen pals.
Wow. Pen pals. You take me back to my teen days.
Yeah.
I had my first connection with a lot of young people in the UK was through being pen pals with them. I never met them I'm not sure if I even ever met any one of them, but we used to write to ourselves at the time and post. Those were the days when you write and you post letters and you waited anxiously for a reply, and you would exchange gifts from your countries and send different things that kind of spoke to the other person, to your friend, about you or of you, But everything is on the phone now. You click one thing and then people don't even write letters anymore, There's no contact that really shares your inner feeling.
Totally. It's funny you should say that, because at the moment, I actually I have so many, I've got so many different things coming into my head at so many different times and going, oh wow, wearing so many different hats. The other night I lay in bed and thought, oh my God, because we have a partnership with Upcycle Africa, and they're incredible. They build schools and homes out of plastic bottles. Structure. I think, my God, we're looking at climate change, and that's what we're actually able to do now with Aunua as well. So we're going to be addressing a lot of the issues as well. But it's about the kids' boxes. I was thinking we do this box for Troca does it every year for the in Africa. I thought would it be wonderful to be able to kind of have this with part of the program that we're actually doing in Africa with the New Academy Africa. We're creating a educational curriculum. So we're looking to create education and through our partners as well, Beluga, we're going to have ways of sharing our culture, and we've got ways to basically, connect with Africa and help support the educators and the kids over there. The really important thing is to help those kiddies. It would be through building infrastructure with our partners, and it would be through education. And the other one then is with agriculture. And this is where it gets really exciting, because there's something really, really big happening at the moment. And it's just, it's one that I will share with the world now very soon, but it's become an exceptionally incredibly exciting one. That's going to mean that Africa is going to be able to, there's going to be a way of growing crops in a sustainable way. And it's going to be change the whole dynamic. It's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. This is just the most exciting thing. I can't wait. I've been floating around the last 2 months because I'm part of this team now that are able to do this. And I'm seeing all of the different presentations and different things that are going on, and the interest shown, and kind of talking to kind of leading people around the world. And it's about, it's incredible what's going on, and there's going to be some really big breaking news now very soon. But I'm excited to say I'm partnered with this particular organisation, and Aunua the part of the team, which we are now, and they're going to support Aunua Academy and bring it globally. So we're going to have a hell of a lot more things to share.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Well done. You've got so much going on there. And I have to say, well done for even putting yourself out there, supporting young people and ensuring that you're doing your bit to support humanity and ensuring that other people's children are in a better place. God bless you for doing that. Well done. Do you have any last messages there for, we're getting close to wrapping up now. Do you have any last messages, any last words for parents? I suppose you work with parents as well. And this is not just a one-way work that you do. It's not just a one-way project. You connect parents with the children. Any last words for parents who are watching right now to help them in their work with them, ensuring a better mental health or emotional well-being for the children?
Really, it's an important time more than ever. We've no idea the impact of this is really going to happen to them. I know before we were dealing with, there's so much on climate change that our young people are listening to, and there's so many things that we fear for their future. And I suppose that they're learning about this. They know what's down the road. Like, things have to change on that front. But we're looking at so much exposure to our young people, and we don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. So really, I think it's a very important time for families to really, really kind of work together and put aside anything that's going on in your lives and really focus on this time and making this time be an important time and a time to connect and really set values, strong bonds, relationships, and just really, your family is the most important thing that you'll ever have. Value that and nurture that, and just really spend the quality time together. Just this is our opportunity to do it. Our young people are here with us; they're in our homes, and to be able to do that, spend that time, quality time, then this is the time to do it now. So,
here. Thank you so much. Would you give people if they wanted to reach you, how can they reach you? Your email, what's the connection to reach you? Would you share that with people?
Absolutely. That's what I always say. We're all part of a jigsaw we're looking to fix together. And I'm always delighted to hear from people and hear their thoughts. So, Aunua is spelled AUNUA Academy ACADEMY.com. So you can find us on www.aunuaacademy.com. You can email me if you want, Karina, Karina, @aunuaacademy.com. Or you can info@aunuaacademy.com. And so you can contact either of those ways. We've got a Facebook page. We're on social media. And there's going to be a lot more things coming. So just watch this space. There's a lot of really exciting things, developments happening. And thank you so much for listening. And take care of each other.
Thank you so much, Karina. It's been an honor and a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for sharing of the great work that you're doing with Aunua Academy. Very impressive. We pray that you continue to get great support and that you are blessed a thousand folds for the great work that you do. And we pray that your children will always make you proud as well.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you for sharing your work with us today. I really appreciate it. God bless you and have a great evening yourself.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you so much for having me. And I love having you with the Powerpreneur as well. I'm excited to see where it's all going to take us, yeah? Thank you for listening in, everybody. God bless you all.
Have a great evening, Karina. Everybody say bye to Karina and thank you to Karina. Take care. God bless you. Thank you all so much for being a part of the show today and for contributing. And thank you for your patience. For those who joined us initially, you know that we did have the challenge with the audio, but thank goodness we were able to get that sorted. So I invite you to join us tomorrow for our Business Thursday. And I'm very excited about tomorrow as well, just as I was about today. More so, we're going to be talking about how you can get your business. Our topic tomorrow is how to make your business COVID-19 proof. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're worried about your business, or you're running an SME, whatever it is the case, and you're concerned about your business in this challenging times, well, you want to join us tomorrow. You want to ask somebody you know or invite somebody you know to join us tomorrow, because we'll be talking about how to make your business COVID-19 proof. And my guest is no other than the CEO of Best Man Games and the founder of Money Matters with Nimi, the incredible business guru herself, Nimi Akikugbe. She'll be joining us tomorrow. So I look forward to having you tomorrow. If you're thinking of a business idea as well, well, perhaps tomorrow is the time to join in so you know how to start creating the business lineup so that you can kick off the minute all of this is over. So join me tomorrow, Thursday, as we discuss business, and we'll be talking about how to make your business COVID-19 proof. And my guest is the CEO of Best Man's Games, Nimi Akikugbe. So don't miss tomorrow. I want to really, really appreciate you all for being a part of the show today. We've been sharing about how to help our young people, our teens, and support them with their emotional challenges. I want to join Karina by not emphasizing mental health, but the emotional well-being, looking after the emotional well-being. As parents, we have a responsibility towards our children, not just to look after them with food, shelter, clothing, not just those, but also to ensure that we instill in them the values that help them become better human beings. When all's said and done, with all the education and all the successes that we run after, if we are not good people that mind how we connect with other people and mind our attitude as well, well, everything else could become meaningless if we're not greater people. So one of the key things we can do as parents, and one thing that we can give for sure to our children, is to give them values. We have to build one ourselves and then teach it to our children. So whilst most of us may not be highly educated, it's not a crime not to be educated. Life throws us lemons and we make lemonades with them. So many of us have found ourselves in situations that we never bargained for, but it doesn't mean that's the end of life. We still have many things to offer our children. So whilst you may not be able to help them with the schoolwork, the school is there to do that. Sometimes they have extra lessons. Thank goodness for that. They're there to support as well. The one thing that we can give is to teach them how to be good people. So I hope today we'll begin to make plans to share time, spend time, make out time out of no time that we think we don't have, to teach our children to be good people. A good girl or a good boy will be a good woman or a good man. That's what the world needs. That's what we can give as parents. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope to see you tomorrow when we discuss business. And until then, stay very, very safe. Take care of yourself. God bless you.